looking at thrift stores and finding some neat things. I don't know. I didn't have a song ready. Don't know why I didn't have a song ready, because it is time for my favorite things or our favorite things. Welcome to Two Dogs Digs on a Tuesday night to our live hall pass. And tonight we're going to talk to you about some of our favorite things. And by our favorite things, we're going to talk to you about some research things that we love to look at a lot. We seem to go to an awful lot.
Whee!
Oh. And guess who's here? just him.
You said favorite things.
Oh,
I'm here.
My favorite thing that's downstairs. Hobby of mine.
Hello.
So we're here to talk about favorite things, and it's like some research things, some Facebook groups that we really love going to, just some things that we think that overall could help you a lot in the grand scheme of everything that you are looking for. So a big hello to everybody who's watching us after the fact as well, because we actually bumped into somebody earlier on this week who is one of our neighbors who actually found us just by chance.
Oh my God, I found you online.
I saw you on the TV. So Margot, if you're watching, shout out to Margot, who has just started actually selling on Posh with clothes that she finds at thrift stores. But yeah, today we're going to talk about our favorite things. And that's, as I said, it's a couple of those different kinds of sites and everything. Big hello to everybody who's joining, especially those of you who are members of the Kennel Club. Thank you so much. You're all here. So big hello to Janet and Michael and Adrian, who actually made it on time. Heather, who's searching for Barbies. She's got an auction. She actually was working on, she's looking at right now. And again, this is something that I always tell all of you who are members of the Kennel Club. Heather does this all the time. A few of you do, but Heather, no problem at all. She sends me pictures going, what do you think of this? What should I bid on this? Is this a good lot? Things like that. And it's really quick, because what she can do is take a quick picture of it, send me a picture of it, and literally, in the case of this, it happens to be a Barbie item. There, look at this. This is literally, what do you think about these? What are the possibilities? And quick question, I said no, yes, no, like all the time. And it's something that all of you in the Kennel Club can do. Just message me on Facebook anytime you want. If you see something, if you're curious, trying to figure out something. And that's what I'm here for, and that's what Rick is here for as well, in terms of trying to help. So Lisa is here, and Diana, and Candace, and Padiddles, and Louette. Okay, what else we got? Linda, Lisa, Dawn, Dax is here. He's preparing for his next Max Sold. We just did one on the weekend, actually, too. Yes, Rick is here, bad hair and all, as he said. Roadrunner. So, thanks, Tina. You're a little late, but we're still there. Our internet actually is cranky, too. I will take this opportunity to say, literally 4 minutes before we started, our internet went out. I don't know why. We're both talking to each other.
Modem rebooted.
Decided to reboot. So if it does do that, then we'll redo this some other time. But hopefully it won't end up doing that. So I thought the first thing I wanted to show you is just one silly little thing. Is I promised Rick that I would not buy anything big. I said, This is it. We're not buying large things. We have to. When we have a Max Sold, we get rid of stuff, and part of the idea is to make room for stuff that is either we can do more sorting on it or any of that kind of stuff. So it's one of those things where you're looking and you go, okay, I'm not looking for anything big of any kind, and this is what I ended up doing. I bought two things. This is a giant radio control shockwave and a string ray. What the hell are either of those, you say? Well, let me just show you. This is not small. This is the shockwave. This big, huge bugger. You can see it's actually going to go in our Max Sold because Rick will not let me ship this.
No, shipping is going to be $38.
Sure, would be $30 or $40. Strangely enough, this was sitting in the books. Like somebody had moved it, and I don't know why, but they moved it to the book section, so it's actually stuck out like that on the end of the books. Right? So I see this.
Yeah, somebody setting it aside for Seniors Day.
So I think somebody was putting it aside, and it was $9.99. And so I went and looked this up, and this darn thing sells for between $90 and $175 US. Sold of this. So it's a giant thing though, and it needs a NiCad battery, which I don't want to buy. So the reason they were trying, that's what I just think. I think they were trying to hide it, but they didn't do a very good job. It yelled to me as I sort of went by that part of the store.
That's a tip for the thrift store. You see things out of place, look them up.
Yes, they could very well be someone else's hidden thing. Hey, Nellie and Carl and Jennifer. So that was one, and the other thing I think Rick, you've got behind you. So that was $9.99, and this was this other thing. This was $25, and I looked it up, and the thing was, it's this weird, really weird, like retro string light thing. Now the neat thing about it was it actually worked, and I could test it in the store, and it worked. And again, it's something that sells for about $100 or more. So that actually is on eBay right now, I think, Rick, or it's about to go on eBay.
It's about to go.
We got a little bit of work to finish on that, but although I did promise no more large things, I just couldn't resist those two giant things. So I've been a bit of a bad boy. One other thing I wanted to make sure everybody knows.
Let me jump in on that. The other thing that I give you shipping prices, and you up the value of what you want to list it for so that you can subsidize the shipping price, which drives me nuts, but that's the way we're dealing with having competitive shipping on some of those larger items that are going to cost that little bit more to ship.
Yeah, sometimes it actually makes it easier to sell. If everybody else is selling these for $125 and they're charging like the free shipping, whatever, I'm going to put mine at $105. And I'm only going to put $15 for shipping, so it's cheaper. And I know that it's actually going to be $10. I'm not going to make the $105. I'm going to make $10 less on that. That's okay. Again, it's a way for me to think about competitively pricing against other things that are out there, because I don't want to hold on to stuff as much anymore. We're actually trying to flip stuff and get it out. So I'm not doing as much of a let's hold this for the long term and try and get more money. I'm like, let's get this bugger out of here. And that's why this is like that big thing is going right away into our next Max Sold that's coming up in October, because since we just did one in November. Adrian was carling this week. Anybody else? Every day. Sherry does it all the time. Hi, Lisa.
Carling makes me smart.
Sometimes if shipping is super expensive, I'll put that in the price too, like $40 plus shipping. Yeah, it's just another way for looking. We're all there now. Well, it's also the one thing that we said about it. I think we were talking to Adrian about it, but the one thing we said is when you're in a store, we always say things like to each other or at a garage sale or something like that, and we go, okay, I wonder if Max would like this, and Max is our Max Sold auction. Well, now what we actually can do, and we do this at garage sales and estate sales as well, it's like, I wonder what Carl thinks of this. And so when you say something like that, even if you're by myself, I go, I wonder what Carl thinks of this. I can take the picture in Google Images. And nobody thinks twice. It's not like I'm sitting there. I talk out loud, go, I wonder what Carl would think of this. Like, that's literally how we end up doing it.
Hey, do you think Max would like this?
Do you think Max would like this? Yeah, I just said that. You were listening.
I was distracted. Carling.
You are not listening to me. Off the rails we go. Oh, you meant when shipping is over $40. I wonder. Oh, okay. I thought you meant covering off, but again, covering it off, same difference, sort of thing. But before we go on to anything else, I want to remind everybody that eBay Open launches tomorrow. So it's actually started today with some live events in some small areas, but it is starting tomorrow. So I'm going to take you through a few things about eBay Open first and foremost. So eBay Open is tomorrow. It's 3 days long. So you actually have a whole bunch of different things that you can plan on for this. And all you have to do, again, if you haven't signed up for it, it's free to go to. All you have to do is go to your eBay page. At the bottom of your eBay page, you will look to the announcements column. And in announcements, you actually click on that. You can find eBay Open. And then you can go right in there and you can register and everything like that right now. You can build a profile. You can check for troubleshooting and all that sort of stuff. There's a couple of things that are going to be interesting in here for everybody. Let's see if I can get to the right one. So this is the schedule. If you go to the actual eBay Open schedule page, you'll be able to see. And I know it's tiny, so I'm going to try and make it bigger. So here is the schedule. That's happening. This is happening right now. So the schedule itself. So today is the 26th. Tomorrow is the 27th. So on the 27th, there's going to be the time that you see on here is Eastern Standard Time. So it's adjusted for my time. So if you were in the West Coast, that would be 8 a.m. So it starts at 9 a.m. West Coast, noon on the East Coast, and in between on all those others. So 11 to 12 is just general sort of peeking around. There is schedules that are going on from where's this? Where's the actual? Here's the sessions. I think they are here. You can click on the sessions. Should be showing up here. There's sessions at 2 o'clock. Creating listings your lovers would buy. Your lovers. Your buyers will love, your lovers will buy. Saving timing money with shipping labels, not something that a lot of us pay attention to. Evolution of promoted listings. So these are all things that are happening during the day that you will get, everybody sort of locks in to see. So this is on for the entire time. And then it goes into a bunch of individual segments. And here's the segments that'll happen on here. This happens to be from day one, which is Wednesday. So there's these are little networking rooms, and that's going to have like professional electronics, sourcing vintage jewelry, selling in eBay Motors, selling plus size clothing, outdoor sports. So those are all going to be live from 1 to 2 p.m. PST or 4 to 5 Eastern time. And Thursday, there are also these network rooms, and they're going to be on the top and the bottom. And there's product photography, sourcing, how to attract customers, falling in love with therapy filters, top tips for auctions. That's me. Increasing profitability, and then talking shop with the Hustle Bee and Ann Packer. So those will actually be happening both before and after on the Thursday. There are some things happening on the actual going here. So there's seller networking, as you can see in here. And then the sessions, turn your hobby into a full-time business. So these are different sessions you can join in as well. There's a main thing that'll be happening tomorrow. And I don't know why it doesn't show up on the schedule here, but it's going to show up right at noon. And it'll be noon until 1:50. And that'll be the main speech that's going to be going on. When you're in here, you'll be able to go into the chat on the side. You'll be able to see people. There's me. My profile is complete. The sessions will all be here. You'll be able to join sessions. There's a social little thing. Take a selfie and turn yourself into something here. So there's people with their selfies already that have got up there. But again, back to the reception. So I want you to all think about that now as well. There are some booths that are going to be there. And eBay Canada is going to have a booth. And that booth is going to be pop in and out. There'll be some manning of the booth, but in the full sort of for everybody. And I'll post this in Craft as well so people can get a better look at it. On September 27th, so tomorrow at 3 o'clock, Alex Robel, who's the head of their collectibles category, is going to be there live in their booth. So you can go into the eBay Canada booth and you can talk with Alex if you have questions. On September 28th, Amir is going to be there, which he's the head of product and operations. And on the 29th, Luke is going to be there, who is our main connection, who is seller engagement manager. And there's all the different times. I'll post these happen to be on eBay Canada. But you can go into eBay community on ebay.ca, news and updates, announcements, join it at the eBay Canada booth. So you'll be able to see any of that. And they'll be there throughout the event as well. So, they're using a place called Hopin for this. So hopefully we'll see some of you there in the chat. I know we usually do at a bunch of times. Hopefully they will also do some stuff this year that is not focusing so much on sneakers, automobiles, or trading cards, or watches. Those four things. They've done that so many times, and it's just ridiculous how often they go back and forth and talked about the same thing over and over and over again. It's like, we get it. You make a lot of money off those things. And yes, a lot of people who shop those things also spend money on other places on eBay. So that's the one thing that I do like and that we have learned from them. They've done some tracking of a number of lots of different people. And it's like the average person who spends $1,000 on sneakers has spent $3,000 on other places on eBay. So it does bring a lot of people in. So it's really a good thing. But I just like to see them talk a little bit more. Again, in Canada, you can talk to Alex Rockwell about all the stuff that she's going to be doing on collectibles. So eBay Canada's got some great focuses coming up as well. And I got to talk to you a little bit more about those in craft. There is no drink and dance, unfortunately. Thank God. There is no DJ like they did before.
You can make your own.
I guess you can make your own, yeah. Well, again, Nelly wouldn't buy sneakers online, got to feel and make them fit. But I'll tell you, even Luke Bradley actually sells sneakers online too. So, but we bought sneakers online. We actually did. We bought some sneakers because I bought a pair of sneakers that I loved. And then I wished I had a couple more for the future. And I ended up going to eBay and I bought 2 more pairs through people on eBay because I knew that I already loved them. So it was interesting. But yeah, no, dancing in person, Heather, that was fun. Virtually, there you go. There's no dancing. I'm having a coffee. Here's my drinking, since we don't really drink. And now on to the research side of things, the favorite things, the things that we love. I'll get back in. Our links and research and more. Now, here's something I want everybody to remember. If you happen to be a member of the Kennel Club, we have a research site list for the Kennel Club members that we put together. I'm going to do an updated video for it, I think tomorrow or later on tonight. But there are links to it in the YouTube channel. So if you go to the YouTube channel, into community, you'll actually see links as you go down there, and it links you up to this. Rick is also building an Excel version of all this. There's over 50 different links to research sites that we go to. We're going to talk about a few of those today, as well as some other things to show you. So, and I thought we'd start off right away with something that is, because we're adding to these all the time too, as we find new things. But I'm going to talk a vast different kinds of things here. Rick's got a couple he wants to talk about as well. So the first one I want to bring up is actually for people who are thinking about doing anything in fashion. It is the Vintage Fashion Guild. And it is this amazing website. Let's see if I can make it a little bigger than this. The Vintage Fashion Guild. And it's an amazing website because what it does is it gives fashion timelines. It gives label resources too. This is one of my favorite ones to see, is you can go in there and you can think, I have a label of somebody, and let's just say it happens to be a label from, we can see, look at that, every letter of the alphabet. Let's say Perry Ellis. Let's just, I don't know why.
Do Ralph Lauren.
Huh?
Do Ralph Lauren.
Okay, I'll do Ralph Lauren. So we go into here, and it's probably under Lauren then, right? Of course, maybe. Lauren, Ralph, there. So Lauren, Ralph Lauren. So you got details about Ralph Lauren, that he was born Ralph Lipschitz. And then you can see the first polo he established. And this is the thing that I love, is if you have these kind of things, is you can see the actual types of labels that were being used by Ralph Lauren from the different time periods. So you've got a way to start it. If you have something in front of you and you're not sure where it's from, this is such a great resource for this. Now, we will put these things into the chat here. There's the link. Oops. There's the link to this, which is the vintagefashionguild.org. It's in the chat right now. So again, anything, and they've got so many amazing names though. Like there's things I've never heard of. It's like there's people like, well, there's one I had heard of, but it wasn't Etienne Agnier. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. Bad gay boy. But there's what a pair of their sandals looks like. Look at this.
Yeah.
Their purse, tags. This is so again, this is really great. Now, they have so much else that's in the it is a really, really useful thing. You like it. What is this fashion you speak?
Well, we've got tubs of it, so.
Now the interesting thing, we have tubs. Now here's a few things that I didn't even know. You can join the Fashion Guild Club and take a look at this. Shop vintage fashion members on Etsy. So they've got links here for people who are selling stuff who are members of their vintage fashion guild. We're not members of it. I got to think about maybe this is something we should be looking at.
Then you have to list clothing.
Yeah, that's true. But hat resource, identification guide. So if you find a lot of this stuff and it happens to be one of those things that you're going to estate sales and you find, Heather, I think you just bought some hats. I know we just actually sold some, but the names of types of hats. What is a balaclava? What is a bandeau? What is a bash or crease? Are dents intentionally made in the upper crown of a hat? So this can also help you with the details when you're listing something. So you could say that you have a hat that has a bash in it, and it's the real term. Although I don't like bash. It sounds like it's broken. Beanies, beehive hats, like that. Again, what's a fascinator?
You'd look good in a fascinator.
There's also 1980s rhinestone fascinator. Fabric resources. How to identify a fabric. Again, this is so interesting. Acrylic. So it's a real deep dive. But if you were thinking about this kind of thing, it tells you a lot about the actual types of fabric and things like that. So this is one of our favorite things. And let me just see in here. Membership for here is an annual due of $35. Well, it does give you a lot of information, but you don't have to be a member to join all this, to get all this information. There's articles in here, book reviews, care and cleaning, featured designers, garment specific, so much stuff in there. So again, Fashion Guild, Vintage Fashion Guild is one of the things that is a great source for people to try and take a look at. I'm just checking. They were teeny hats, little. It's like the pattern. There is a pattern wiki. Yeah, that's one thing that they have. Listing clothing is the biggest pain in the ass. So yeah, we still have. We will get to it. We will get to it at some point, I think.
When I'm old and gray.
No, we're gonna have to get to it because I want to get rid of some of that stuff. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that actually as well. Is one of the things is when you're trying to sell stuff, we're going to show you some Facebook pages that are also our favorites that are coming up. Do you have a site that you want to show, Rick?
Yes. The first one I want to start with is Board Game Geek. We buy a ton of board games, and quite often they're missing pieces or missing the rules. This boardgamegeek.com website allows you to find the game you're looking at, and quite often you can get a link to download a PDF of the rules, and you can get pictures of all of the pieces that are inside the board game. There are far too many things to look at here, and if I click on one thing, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole, and nobody wants me to do that. So back to you, Craig.
I was just going to say, well, one of the things about that is sometimes you'll get a game and you, like as Rick says, it doesn't have the rules in it. And usually the rules are where you actually see the listing that says, this comes with 6 pawns, 4 of these, 10 of these, 1 of these, that kind of thing. And so it's nice to be able to go there and see. There is a buy and sell board as part of Board Game Geek as well. Rick's taking the page away, but there is a buy and sell section on there. You can actually see where people are saying, I want this, versus that they have it as well. So there's a shopping section there. People are trading for things. You can see things that are like that. There's over on the, it's very small, but you can see it looks like it says the hotness.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
It's very, very small, Rick.
I'm trying.
So these are really hot games. You can see a lot of them are from 2023, but there's Yokohama, which again has 90-minute playing time. And there's 507 people love that. So there's ratings for it. There's images. You can get like all the sorts of things. This is where you go through. You can see a lot of the stuff that people put together on this. It's really, really a good place to try and do. To take
videos of gameplay, which is fantastic if you're trying to understand how a game works. And even after reading the rules, it's confusing. Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt.
So I'm just trying to say, Lisa loves Board Game Geek. Andrew saying, I've never found them useful for Monopoly. I've started to keep your own spreadsheet for what pieces should each edition should have. It's true. Monopoly, it's not a really great one for it. It happens to be a harder.
Well, they're like 117 pages of Monopoly games.
Yeah. That's the biggest challenge. Like let's see if there's a Facebook
about Bricklink. Yes, it is Bricklink for the Lego pieces.
So this was actually something that I was going to mention later on, but there is a Monopoly Game Collectors Facebook group, Buy, Swap, and Sell. So this is the interesting thing here as well, is a lot of the times you will actually get the things in here where you can ask the questions as well. So that's another place to take a look at. So in there. So Lisa says she used Board Game Geek for vintage games to see if they're complete. Yep. You shipped a Monopoly game yesterday. So that will be one of the things that you can show on next week's show, which is already there. I bowed your geekiness.
She says she will not buy board games unless they're sealed. And even then, nope. Everyone has their own thing they want to buy and try to resell.
Oh, yeah. No, it's again, we're just showing a different thing. I mean, even if you don't want to buy board games, you may want to play board games.
Wall of board games we've got here.
Well, you may want to play one. And as you said, there's videos on how to play them there. There's ranks and all sorts of things like that. So, and again, we're trying to do less on the board game side because it's very large in a lot of cases. And it takes up a lot of space. And they can be fast or slow sellers. It's sort of all over the board. So we're actually trying to get rid of a bunch more of our board games.
During the pandemic, my goodness.
Yeah.
Board games
it was amazing.
Were flying off the shelves.
Just like our jigsaw puzzles.
I said puzzles. You're not listening to me.
I wasn't listening to you. Wow, my turn. Andrew breaks up games all the time to make a lot more money for them for very little extra work. Yes, and that is true. I think a lot of people have kind of taken that sort of.
I've learned something about board game pieces. If you want to make sure you don't ship the wrong pieces, put them in different locations in your inventory. There have been a couple of instances where somebody bought a particular set of characters from one of our fire team board games, and they were all in the same bin. I pulled the wrong bag and shipped the wrong characters, not once, but twice. So now when we have similar characters, I automatically put them in different bins so that I will not pull the wrong bag on accident.
I had the bags labeled.
I do not read labels. You cannot label me.
He just looked at this bag of plastic figures, went, this one. Like,
your pictures are so teeny.
I did see someone chatting a little bit there on the Lego side of things. Yes, Bricklink is the place for Legos. It's also a place you can order Legos. People sell Lego pieces on there. But it helps you, again, with instructions, all that sort of stuff. So we happened to find a baggie that had what looked like a complete thing inside, but it was missing the booklet. So I actually went to the Bricklink side and found the booklet, downloaded that, and then I'm able to say, now I can put it together. So Rick put a link there for you. Now, another one that I'm going to put up, and this is, again, some of these are for fun, but there is a big interest in sort of vintage, retro, vintage sort of things like paint by numbers. And the thing that a lot of people don't know is there is actually a paint by number museum. And this paint by number museum actually shows you thousands of paint by number kits. So you can search and find out what your actual paint by number is. You can find out when it was made, if it was a two-parter, what it came with. So I'm going to put the link in here right now. This is Paint by Number Museum. And I'll just show you what we've got in here. So there, you go in here. You can search the collection of paintings, explore the archives. So let's just go in here. So here's a key word. I've got this painting, and it happens to have a palm tree in it. That's all I know. Here's what it does. It actually brings up every paint by number that it has listed that has a palm tree. And let's just say, oh my goodness, there is the one that I have. Now I can look at it. Its actual name is 12E. The title is Tropical Sunset. It was made in 1953. It's a 9x12. It came in a box with another one. There are two matching pictures. And again, if you search there, you can see that's probably, there it is, 12E and 12E2. But pretty well any kind of, if you actually want to, oh, Janet uses the Paint by Number Museum often. Yay! It's one of the things is you never know. Maybe you are just a huge fan of, I don't know, lions. Or actually,
baby Jesus.
Huh? Okay, baby Jesus. So we can go there, and if you happen to be a fan of baby Jesus, these are all baby Jesus, and you could look for this, and you might find something you want to have. You might want to do it yourself, or you might want to find something for your own place. Sherry's like, wow, you have 6 you need to ID. Yeah, and that's, again, just you can search in here. If you have the title, this is great. If you have the kit series, that's fine. But you can search kits in here by kit name. But again, my favorite way of looking at it is just this, because you can look at something that you've got and it happens to have a cougar on it. And now I can go in there and go, oh, wow, that's the cougar I have. That's the one that I found. And again, when I'm building the, you can, but a lot of times you'll go to an eBay link or an Etsy link.
Or a Cherish link.
Or a Cherish link. First Gives link. Whereas, and they may not have all the information. So again, just as a seller, this is something that can help you by saying you could actually date it, and you could put this, if you found that picture somewhere, you could actually put it up and it tells you it came in all these different kits. And Artist Touch 3 kit, and you can find the kit came out in 1975. There's all the paintings that came out in those kits. So again, it just gives you some like little bits of extra information. So there were 12 kits in here, and where's that cougar gone? There it is, right there. Oh, there it is. Cougar 6D and 6DD3, and it came with a moose. So it was a moose and a cougar. But again, I think it's great when you put these up and you actually can call this. It makes you sound so much more authoritative when you can say Mountain's Majesty by Craft House from 1994. Like people go, how the hell do you know this? I just happen to be a paint by number aficionado. Well, not really. I just have to go to the Paint by Number Museum. That's how I do it. And paint by numbers can be really good flips. A couple of things about them that makes it really interesting to flip. One is often you can do it and sell it without the frame, because people may want to do their own frames, or the frames are bashed up or things like that. We've actually found quite a few paint by numbers without frames, just loose, especially at garage sales and things like that, where someone's painted them and then just never framed them. the nice thing about that is little flat. It's like that flat thing to ship out. So it can be really easy to do. If you do want to send it with the frame, again, it's not that thick, usually most of the time.
Who's your friend?
And most don't have glass on them either. If they do, remove the glass. And it just makes it so much easier to ship those. I'm not sure a cougar would be double D's. But I don't know where we're going with this. Lisa had, shooting your Pinterest, I didn't know where, you had your first Etsy sale, share and save sale this week, save 4%. Yeah, that's something Etsy is doing where if you post things on with your own link to your item and somebody goes and buys them, they'll give you a 4% credit. Tina, I had 2 paint by number horses laid out to list, and I found one on his website. Yeah. They do. They sell for the nostalgia, but they also sell for the nostalgia to the youngins.
This is so kitsch.
Gen Ys and Gen Zs and sort of thing. So, next one I'm going to go to is a more. Let me put it this: I love the site, but I can't stand the setup of the site. So, Starbucks mugs still have can be really good for flipping, but there's so many Starbucks mugs out there. So there's a website that we go to which is called Starbucks Mugs, and it's a good site, but there's ads all over it that you end up having to deal with. So I'm going to show you it. It's busy as all hell. This is it. This is the only thing we're interested in.
1990.
This is the thing we're interested in. There's a little piece down here, but we got all these things for Metro. But again, we can go to the bin there ornaments, and you can take a look and see what kind of things have come up. New ones, older ones. You can do some search on there. So there's been there. This is I guess Christmas ornaments that are coming up for this year for little cups that are Christmas ornaments. The series for that, they show all the different kinds of things in here as well. So you can see Tampa Bay is not a city mug, but a collectible inspired by the beautiful area. So it just gives you listings of stuff. So 2017, You're Here ornaments. It's just a way for you to take a potential look at these. I think we've lost the audience.
Yes.
Get your lady mama on.
Yes.
Kitsch me, baby.
We're talking about kitsch.
I know.
PBN.
Well, I'm glad you're having fun in there. Well, we'll just keep going. Another one, I'm still in this sort of same area. Firefox with ad block makes the site, yes, much less painful. True. We're doing it on Chrome. Pyrex is a big thing for people collecting, and this is one I actually like to search. I use this on my phone all the time. You can crawl any of these things you want, but one of the challenges sometimes is trying to figure out the patterns. So the thing that I like about this particular site is it actually has a pattern browser on it, and this is for PyrexCollector.com. It's got a lot of great things in here. History of Pyrex, collecting strategies, Pyrex hunting, what to look for, where to look, diligence, stay calm. That's stay calm. Most people would not stay calm if they saw some of the things in there.
Some people are really cuckoo sort of when it comes to Pyrex. Some people are really cuckoo when it comes to Pyrex.
Yeah, so this is like Pyrex pattern timeline, standard timelines for these multicolor bowls when they came out, when the different patterns all came out is in here too. And let me see if I can find that. I think it's this one. There. So here, this is where I'm always looking for these things, especially if you're trying to find things, or even if you want to get a little bit of knowledge on what is a good pattern that is, or what's a limited pattern. So this is, and Carl, don't forget, the links for all of these are on the research deck as well. So you'll be able to find them there. But here's a thing where you can actually go and see limited edition, and you can check on these. You can see non-standards. And again, if you just happen to be searching for stuff, it gives you a way to take a look at things, specials. So you can take a look and start going, oh, why is this special? I thought I'd seen this one before. It's like, oh, okay. So it's butterprint orange, an alternate color marketed only through stamp redemption program. So you may think, oh, this is a common pattern, but now you might know, oh, there's something here that's a little bit different. This is, and I'll put the thing in here as well. So, oh, Rick just did. Okay.
I just did.
Oh, again, it's an interesting site if you happen to be thinking about Pyrex. If you've got something that you have a pattern on, there is also Pyrex Love, which actually Lisa mentioned as well. This is one of our favorite ones too. But again, it's like how to care for it, how to store it, how it's made, like chip and dip sets, alternative versions. There's rare and hard to find pieces, and it talks a little bit about rarity changes by marketing strategy, things like that. So that Big Bertha round casseroles go for various patterns. So a lot of detail in it, but it's a great place to try and take a look for something if you're literally thinking, okay, I want to find out more about it. Rick, you got another place to go?
Actually, before we do that, Don has a great tip. Always grab loose lids when you see them, because so many are missing their lids. Good point. We've grabbed a few loose lids, both at thrift stores and garage sales. All right. Yeah, I have I've said this before. One of my favorite sites is the Wayback Machine, only because it's really cool because it's part of the Internet Archive. There have been occasions where we've bought things that had been published on a website in the 90s. And there's a link on whatever the thing is to that website from the 90s. Well, the Wayback Machine actually allows you to see if the Internet Archive has browsed that website and grabbed the contents. I've found 3 or 4 things in the past couple of years that I could not find anywhere else because of this. And one of the things that Craig and I used to do is we had a website called thebulletin.net. And I'm using this as an example because it goes all the way back to 1998, 1999. So it just means that the Internet Archive crawled our site or captured our site and made a copy of it for their particular archive. So I'm going to look at February 8th, and we're going to just open up one of the snapshots that it did from February 8th in 1999. This is 24 years ago. We had a website, thebulletin.net, Bad Dog's Groovy World. We published our own newsletter called Bad Dog's Bulletin. We had internet and telephone auctions. We ran our own shows called The Vinyl Princess. So again, it's kind of cool just to look back in time.
Elisa, you might actually be able to find your old thing on there. Like, so it's a very interesting kind of thing. Yeah, your old blog is probably hiding in there somewhere too. But yeah, as Rick says, a lot of times, every once in a while, we'll come across something and there'll be a link and the link just won't go. And that's where you end up go back to the Wayback Machine. And then you actually the Internet Archive, and you can use the Wayback Machine to actually find that link and see if it happened to scrape and grab a page. You can see there, we had that active all the way through to really 2005, and then we stopped that particular one.
Well, it's still grabbing the website from like this year. And the only thing on the website now is basically, I think it's our shipping page.
Well, Lisa found the Libby catalog site on there. Yeah, and the Libby catalog is amazing. So can you look up that, Rick, and see if you can find the Libby catalog?
What's the URL?
Oh, you have to have the URL for it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, right. You need the URL. But again, it's a fun site to visit. If you remember a website that you used to go to all the time and want to see if it's been captured, Unfortunately, this doesn't work for sites like eBay or Amazon or any of those sites because most of the time they do not give permission for the Internet Archive to scrape the site or copy it. Over to you, Mr. Craig.
I'm going to show you 3 sites relatively quickly, all in the toy world. I'm going to go into more detail on them in some future shows that we've got coming up and we have planned. But these are sites that I've been using quite a lot now, actually, lately. First one is this amazing site that's got tons and tons of toy stuff in it, and it is called Ghost of the Doll. You may actually find it. It has 80s and 90s toys. That's part of it. So the great thing, they actually sell a lot of things, but they have great links to finding out information about individual toy lines. So here's a weird sort of thing. They can be weird things too, like here, PJ Sparkles. So with PJ Sparkles, it tells you a little bit about the doll, and they've got an information about it. They've got potentially how she looks. She's a 15-inch doll. They have copies of what various types of things that may have come with her. If she came, there's baby Sparkles, PJ Sparkles Jr. So it's a great little site, again, called Ghost of the Doll. Tons of 80s and 90s toys that are in it. So again, let's say if we wanted to look up She-Ra, there's a link for all the She-Ra, so you can get the She-Ra character names and things like that. You can see packaging from things on there, what belongs with what. So like I actually have a She-Ra that I picked up in a baggy wall, and I can tell you it is, see, I can find which She-Ra it is. It's actually I think it's Frosta. So even that, look at that, the like back packaging. So you go, oh, that's who it is, or that's who Castaspella is. And then go back up here to Castaspella, and you can see this is the things that she happened to come with. So this is a really great thing for Ghost of the Doll. Also in the toy world, this is one I found just recently that I love for Star Wars collectibles. It's called Galactic Collector. And here's the really interesting thing about the Galactic Collector that I found is it gives you, if you go into, this is the home, if you go the main home to it, a vintage database for Star Wars figures. But this is what I love. They have a figure ranking section. And this is what my favorite thing. So you go in here and it actually ranks. If you had every Star Wars complete figure in average condition, it would be worth $7,000 US. And the neat thing about it is you can go through and see from the ranking of the top figures all the way down to figures that don't rank anywhere near as high. So if you happen to find 101 different figures that came out in the vintage series, if you happen to find this guy, his average price is $13 complete. There's a C-3PO, $15. But it helps you as well in figuring out what are the things that are actually worth more money. And I can easily take a look at this now and see some of the things and go, wait a minute, I never would have thought this little black figure, the Imperial Gunner, has had 25 auctions recently with an average price of $273. And you can go to that and see the figure and get trending on its pricing as well. So there's a lot of detail in there. People have different ones that you can take a look at in here, but there's what its gun looked like. So there's a lot of great information on here. The card back, if you want to see what the card back looked like. So again, it's another one of my really favorite ones for that. Adrian's made a comment. Legends Verse does that for Marvel Legends and G.I. Joes. This is a great one. And then the last one I'm going to go to really quickly is just because the season is here. It's just a great place to look at if you're trying to find Hallmark ornaments and you want to find out the years from or things like that. It's called Hooked on Ornaments. It's actually a sales site. It's not a research site, but they have tons of information on all of the different ornaments. So you can go back and you can say, I want to find out 1997 ornaments. And you'll see every one of the ornaments that they've got that came out in 1997. They have pricing in here that you can use as a bit of a guideline if you wanted to. But it's something where you see a year on the bottom of it. You can figure out a little bit more about it. You can find the name of it. So if you happen to have this thing, you might not know that it was actually called the 1937 Steelcraft Airflow. So again, it can help you in looking for some of those things. So those are 3 really interesting sites that we go to a lot of the time. Elisa just went away and came back. Lisa just picked up a Hallmark ornament guide free a couple months ago. Yeah, and those can help you as well. Hardcover stuff works really well too. I think, Rick, it might even be downstairs beside you. I might have put it. There's a book that I just bought, a Barbie accessory book that I ordered on Amazon, and it literally lists every single Barbie accessory and what outfit it goes to, and it lists all the pieces. So this is for vintage stuff. So 1959. So look at, I bought this. It's all about the accessories, and you can go into it, and it's got like every shoe, what color the shoe is, what I'll move it so Rick's bigger on this so you can show it here. I'll do this right there. Oh, you can just open to any page you were there. Just put it back up. Any page. Any page.
Find something interesting.
Any page. Any page. So there, this is, I don't even know what that is, right? You picked a page of things that don't mean it. What the heck are you showing people?
You said
any page.
Pick any
There's
page.
like 80 pages of shoes.
Well, I have to get to shoes then, don't I? I can't find shoes. There we go. Shoes.
So there you go. So every kind of open toe shoe, and beside every one of the shoes, it actually tells you what out. It doesn't have to go that close, Rick. And then it tells you that shoe belongs with this outfit. It tells you where the variations are, and it's a really good thing. This is
slippers.
What slippers belong with it? What tie belongs with what outfit for Ken? What purse belongs with what?
Look at those. So
this is an amazing book. I didn't know it existed as a gigantic Barbie seller and a collector. So I love a lot of the times when you've got the hardcover books on everything like that. Now, another place that I wanted to talk about before we go to some of our favorite Facebook groups is that one of our favorite research things and we talk about it all the time to people is, and we always want to make sure people think about it, is WorthPoint. We love WorthPoint. We've been using it for years. I've seen a number of questions actually in some other Facebook groups that I belong in that talk about, is WorthPoint worth the money? Is it something that I should do? Well, what I always look at is we are WorthPoint junkies, I guess, because of the fact that we're thrifters and resellers. WorthPoint isn't that great for clothing, so it's not good for clothing, but it is really amazing when you're trying to find things that don't actually sell on a normal basis, or collectibles, or China, and a lot of those different things that you can actually end up looking for. So we actually are just going to pop in here. Let's just say, well, let's see if we can find some. If I go Cougar paint by number, let's see what happens when I click on that.
Careful.
There are 2,000 Cougar paint by numbers sold. And again, so the nice thing is you can sort all of these things. You can take them by the category. You can do best match, most recent, oldest, high to low, low to high for pricing. So if we want to see the oldest one sold, it's going to take us into here, and it shows us things that are, these aren't paint by numbers. So sometimes it does a little, might have to do a little bit of extra. I don't know. Because it's taking painted from that. So I haven't signed in on this. So, but it's a really great place to do. Yeah. And WorthPoint, we think WorthPoint is really worth the money. You can actually buy stock in it right now as well. There is, Rick, can you put up the link? We have a link here as well. And it's actually in the YouTube description. There's a link for a WorthPoint trial. So you can go to WorthPoint and you can actually try it for 7 days for free, or 7 items. So what I always say to people is, find a few of those things that you think, I haven't found a lot about them on eBay or the past 2 years, because eBay's Terra Peak is rolling 2 years. WorthPoint is 10 plus years. It's eBay. It actually is First Dibs. It's Cherish. It's other auction sites. It also includes Max Sold now as a new partner. The one thing I'm waiting, and I hope that someday soon, because they just added Max Sold in about 7 or 8 months ago. I'm hoping they do something with Etsy soon, and then you'll be able to see sold Etsy prices on there. But I love the fact that it's 10 plus years. We have found so many items over the parts of time where it's been like, we can't find this anywhere. And we've gone to WorthPoint and we've looked it up and found it on WorthPoint. The other thing that's great about it as well, when we talk about if you're thrifting, when you're on eBay on your cell phone, you actually are looking at stuff on your cell phone that is only eBay's 90 days and sold. WorthPoint has an app, and you can use this on your cell phone. So the great thing is that you're actually able to search things on here right off the bat while you happen to be in like Crayola Bear. I can see all the results from that while I'm in the thrift store or while I'm at the estate sale, like the type of thing, if I'm looking up stuff. So that's one of the great things. We actually found our own sales to that as well.
Yeah, one caveat for the Max Sold pricing, because Max Sold is so regional, there could be some elements of the local community where some things might skew higher versus where you are. So that's the only caveat.
But again, it's great because you can now search 10 plus years of an item here on your phone, as well as searching 90 days on eBay. The nice thing about it, though, is it is a paid service. It costs about $30 a month. Now, people go, oh my God, $30. Well, you can buy it annually, and then you save a little bit of money that way. But the thing that's nice about it is it's an expense. If you're doing this and you're counting your income, you can use this as an expense. It's a research expense that you have that you can put against everything. So if you look up 240 items in a year, that's $1 an item.
And it'll probably save you from buying something that you.
And it will save you from buying something that you didn't, and it will give you prices on some things that you thought you'd never find a proper price for. So it's a really great site to talk about. We got a few minutes left, and I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes or so just going through some Facebook pages that I think that everybody should look at. I think one of the things that we always talk about is keep in mind there are Facebook groups out there that can help you a lot on this, and I'm going to speed through a little bit of this as well. These are some of the sites that we think are great. So on Facebook, just think about when you're looking at stuff. Go to the group section on here. So when you're in there, just go to groups. And when, by the way, hi, Greg. Greg's on the TV watching with Kathy. So you go to the group section and look up something. So if you happen to be a Lego collector, or let's just see if I do that, Monopoly. So if I go into Monopoly and then I click on here and click groups, there are all these different groups in here that can go and possibly help you with what you happen to be looking for. So the Monopoly Game Collector, Buy, Swap, and Sell that we looked at has 4,400 members. Make that a bit bigger. And has 10 posts a week to it. So when we're looking at things like that, one of the ones that we go to is, there it is, just went by. This is the ID My Barbie and Other Fashion Dolls. So if you're not carling something or you've got a bunch of dolls you're not sure of, you can go into this. This is a huge thing. So like people post things like that. What have I got here? And the one thing you want to make sure of is that you take all the things in the Facebook groups with a big grain of salt, because although they're great in one aspect, they're terrible in another, which is there's so many people who don't have a freaking clue what they're talking about. It drives me bonkers, especially in sites that I'm really passionate and know stuff about. Like the Barbie groups, I'm constantly telling people they have no clue what they're talking about because someone, that's a this. It's like, no, it's not. That's extreme. And people argue with me. I know Rick says don't bother. It's like, no, I can't, because I don't want people thinking they have a $400 doll when it's a $3 doll. I just saw one yesterday, which was a Barbie doll.
He turns bright red and steam comes out of his ears.
I saw a doll that had like a doll that's literally its nose was hacked off, and someone said, "Oh, look at this!" And somebody said, "It's rare. I'd pay $100 for this." My comment was like, "I would throw it away because I don't plan on fixing a chopped off nose from a doll that I can buy a basically brand new one for $90, and a brand new vintage one for $90. So sometimes I do have those arguments with people. But Barbie, I do my Barbie and fashion dolls. That's for newer stuff. Another one I love is fucked but fabulous vintage clothing. This is actually a sales site, and it actually people sell clothing, vintage clothing that actually has flaws in it. So if it's torn or if it's ripped, so in this case, the dress needs to be steamed, a seam is popped, and somebody's asking $160 for this, and there's 35 comments. Interested, has this sold? Like, so it's a great site again, but fabulous vintage clothing. Happy sheets, vintage sheets and linens. Flames on the side of my face.
Yes.
Happy Sheets and Linens, which is a great selling site as well. They do auction sales in there. I think Tamara, who may not be watching today, she actually does some sales on here, but it's great from a sales perspective. Again, some are good for research, some are good for sales. But a thing that you should be looking for is anything that is, oh, darn it, these things come up every time. Free stuff. Just take it, it's free. Take a look at the sites that are out there for things for free. So let's just search, since I happen to be in here, Free Toronto. As a reseller, there are groups that are totally free stuff. 23,000 members, 9 posts a day. Marketplace, 110,000, 10 posts a day. Free stuff in the GTA. Join these things if you haven't joined them already. I thought I joined a bunch of these. I don't know why it's not showing me on them. But they're great places for you to actually find stuff that you can potentially resell. Another one.
Be aware of the political sensitivity. You're going to be piled on if you try to resell something you get from a free group on Facebook.
Possibly, yes.
People pile on. Anyway.
But there's another place you can also look for stuff, which is go to Instagram, and you can do something that I didn't even learn about what the word meant. Stooping. I don't know if you've heard about stooping or not.
Stooping?
Stooping is a thrifting thing where people find stuff on the street.
Oh, stooping.
Stooping. Where you find stuff on the street. It's sourcing items that have been left out on the street or as trash. Will they be stooped or not? And the thing is, there are a number of things. And here's the Instagram Stooping Toronto. And take a look at some of the stuff that has actually been put out on people's driveways. This is all stooped stuff. And people get rid of, I can't believe somebody put this out. Found and claimed. A whole bunch of games. So take a look at stooping, not stupping.
Yes.
And if you do, go onto Instagram and you search Instagram and you just search STOOP, stooping, you'll see, look at this. Stooping NYC, Brooklyn, Astoria, Philly, Hamilton, Chicago, Bronx. So you never know. There may be a stooping in your area if you happen to be in
the stoop is like a porch, isn't it?
I don't know how they got the name, Rick.
No, stoop is a porch.
Yes, it is.
From All in the Family.
I know, but I don't know how they got the name. I don't know where it came from. I'm just telling you, it's a good place to find other stuff. Winnipeg has freebie weekends twice a year. The whole city puts stuff on curbs. Oh, we'll have to drive out there. Sherry curb stuff. See? Oh, and Susan is guilty of going and doing that. And Elisa has stooped everywhere. It is a New York City thing. Oh, okay. Yeah, scan local sites, all that sort of stuff. So again, that's just another. Or go to the dump boutique. I like that name.
That sounds a little bit different to me.
My last thing I want to tell everybody this before we go, it's some of again our favorite things that we were on today is make sure when you're thinking about boxes that you look for boxes on those sites as well. So again, this is kind of a research thing, but take a look on your Facebook area, go to Marketplace and take a look at that. This happens to be boxes, and we have found so many things that have been in great shape because people have like got them left over, whatever, like corrugated bins, boxes. Now, if you want to get an idea on pricing, first of all, you can go there or go to Kijiji in Canada or go to Craigslist, and you can see that half price moving boxes, things along those lines. If you are looking at boxes like that, you never know what someone's put in here that falls under the moving boxes side of things. There's not a lot here, but that's not that I need probably put in there packing boxes or shipping boxes.
Yeah.
And then something should come up if I do that. And if I go into there, again, Home Depot boxes, a lot of times you can find stuff for free when you do this. But if you can't find them for free, and again, go to local vets and nail shops for lots of small boxes too. But if you do find something on here and you do want to purchase it, I always say check Uline, which is the North America's largest box manufacturer. Politically, it's not the greatest thing in the world in terms of who owns them, but in some cases I have to go, I don't care. I'm going to be shopping from them because they have every kind of box and every kind of size that I need. So one of the things I have a tendency to do is if I see someone who's put boxes on that happen to be Uline boxes, I'll go to Uline, figure out how much the box costs on Uline and see, and I might even counter them with that box costs less on Uline. So see if you can do anything better. So again, look for those kind of things as places that you can find favorites for. If you do, again, join as many of you here are, and hopefully some of you watching later are part of the group, the Kennel Club. There is a link in the community section. You'll see the research deck, and there's a whole link there for 50 plus different sites, including a lot of the ones that we talked about today. If you have your favorite sites, I'm going to post into Craft something that says, tell me your favorite site tomorrow, and you can pop that in there as well if there's a site that you like to go to. Because I'd like to see what other people, we never know. We find sites all the time. Is that Galactic Collector one I literally just found probably 2 months ago. Yes, they can be considered. Yeah, it's dependable, but it can be evil. Yes. And if you can steal boxes or grab boxes from anywhere, do that. But take a look at some of those sites that we talked about. Maybe learn a little bit about something you didn't think that you would thrift before or you would resell before. Like, I never thought I'd be looking at vintage paint by numbers, or I never thought I'd look at some vintage clothing. Just to give you some ideas, there's so much out there. We couldn't focus on all of it. We're going to take a look at some of those again in the future shows coming up in October and November. And again, remember, for Worth Point, we've got a link that's in the description for this that is a 7-day free trial in case you want to try and do that. Thank you so much for joining us here for our favorite things. These were some of them. There's so many others out there. But my favorite thing is right here. I had to say it. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for being a Kennel Club member. And next week, it's already October, so Carl will be back. I don't know if Adrian will join us again. And we'll have to see whether he's sold enough stuff. And we'll be back here for what's sold in October. No, what's sold in September, because it will be October. Keep your eyes on the craft group. Our post this week is interactive Christmas toys. So take a look at interactive Christmas toys. Want to see you getting those up there. And make sure you got your Halloween stuff listed because it's selling and Halloween's only 4 weeks away, folks. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you, Rick, for helping me. And thanks to everybody who joined us here.
Sorry, I just posted the link to our Facebook group.
Oh, okay. It's right there.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. See you soon.
Bye.
Whoa.